Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 113. In this episode, you're going to hear why Kristin Fitch is so badass. Kristin helps women to live life on their terms and to do the work that they love. Did you listen to Kristin's episode of the podcast? Wasn't she so badass? All right, I just loved hearing from Kristin. There was such great takeaways. So if you missed that episode, definitely go back and listen. Or if you just want to see what it's about first and see if you're intrigued to go listen, cool. Listen to this episode and then head on over and check the other one out. If you enjoy the Ordinary to Badass podcast, I would be super grateful if you headed on over to iTunes and left a rating and a review, or a 5-star rating and review. Your feedback is so important to me. It gets the word out about the podcast and helps other badasses just like you find out about us. So if you leave I cannot talk. If you leave a rating and review, definitely screenshot it and send it to me at Ordinary to Badass on Instagram, or throw it in your Instagram stories and tag me. I want to be able to say thank you. I know it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. You're busy people, and so it's hard to step out of your day and do something for a couple minutes. I get that, but I'm super grateful. And as always, if you don't want to leave a review, send it to a friend who you think would appreciate the show. And with that, let's get to it. Let's hear the 3 reasons why Kristin Fitch is so badass. Okay. 3 reasons why I think Kristin is so badass is because how she talks about productivity, reading and journaling, and then also the third thing is how she defines life on her terms. Let's dig in a little bit. Kristin talked about productivity and that she measures her productivity every day. In the morning, she kind of writes out her schedule of what she wants to do, and in the evening, she reflects on what she did. But then she also looks at other things. It's not just about tasks, like everything you get done. It's also about gratitude. Did you have gratitude today? Or did you practice self-care today? Kristin asks herself those questions every day. And also in the morning, she says, today would be a good day if. I think it's so important to be intentional about our day. She also talks about like scheduling and fun, right? She wants to have fun throughout her week, so she schedules it in. Sometimes we have to do that because we will just opt out of self-care. We will opt out of doing things for ourselves. So these are some things that you might want to consider for your own life. How can you schedule in some fun? Put it on the books, put it in the calendar, get your friends on the same page as you and schedule it now, even if it's a month out, right? Start scheduling these things for yourself. And in the morning, consider what would make today a good day. Try to hit something that would help you make it a good day. And then practice self-care, practice gratitude. And then one of my favorite things is Kristin said, let me be clear here. You don't have to get a bunch of tasks done for it to be a good day. And I don't know about you, but I know that I struggle with this. I struggle with this big time. I always think I have to hit some goal or hit some measure of something so I could say I had a good day, like I got some stuff done. So I love that she added that piece in. Some days we just need a self-care day. So are you doing that? Are you taking time for yourself, for self-care, to love yourself, to just take a day and not think about anything? There are times where we absolutely need that. All right. The second thing that I thought was so badass is Kristin's process for reading and journaling. So Kristin explained that she will read in the morning, even if it's just a couple pages, she will read, and then she'll take some time and journal about it. And she'll write in her journal her takeaways from the book. And then she also will write the author, the page of the book, the name of the book, because we forget these things, right? So sometimes you just have to write it down or you're not going to remember. But I probably need to do this because I have a horrible memory. And I can read a book and I don't retain things very well, right? So the information doesn't always sink in like I would like it to. But if I just, instead of going back and reading the whole book again, what if I just had little nuggets, little takeaways that I could throw in a journal and then look back at later? So that I don't have to read the book, but I can take away the things that were important to me. So consider doing that in your life. Read books, listen to podcasts, write down your takeaways. They say that if you're writing it down, then it's going to sink in a little bit more, that it's going to stick with you longer if you actually write it down. So consider doing that. I love it. Although I probably don't need more journals in my life. I am like a journal collector. I love journals, love taking notes, but this I think could be super helpful. The third thing that I thought was so badass about Kristin Fitch was how she defined life on her terms. So Kristin talks about how she was working full-time and she decided she wanted to go off on her own and do her own business. So she went to her boss and said, hey, I'm really, really interested in starting up my own business. And instead of working full time here, I'd really like to do some consulting. And so she asked if she could just do like 10 hours a week in consulting. And then she upped her rate. It was way more than she would have got paid as a regular employee there, like by the hour. She upped her rate to what it would mean for her, what was the value of the stuff she was giving, right? And so she thought outside of the box. Somebody could have just said, oh my gosh, I have to quit and then I'm out of an income and what am I going to do? Or we either think it's an either or situation. I either have to stay at this job or I have to quit. Like we don't find the middle ground. Or think out of the box. Where in your life can you start thinking outside of the box? It's like there's so much opportunity out there for you. And it doesn't have to be business related, right? It could be anything. And you could just be looking at a situation, again, like it's an either or. Maybe you're thinking you either have to be a stay-at-home mom or go to work full-time. Maybe that's not the case. There's a possibility for you to work part-time or do something else to where you can be with your kids, right? So it's important that we really start looking at the situations in our lives and reflect. Is what I'm saying, is this true? Is what I'm telling myself true? There might be another opportunity for you. There might be another option out there. But you have to keep your eyes open. You have to think outside of the box. And like Kristin did, be willing to pivot. And Kristin said, I had asked her, like, how do you not get stuck? Like when you are making a big decision or leaving your job or trying something new, pivoting from an old situation and slightly changing direction. How do you not get stuck? And she talked about having a growth mindset and thinking all about expansion. Instead of thinking of your changes as being something that's going to restrict you or hurt you or not be enough, think of how it's going to help you grow. Think how it's going to help you expand what you already know. We don't want to be stagnant. If you're stagnant, you're dead, right? It's like we want to keep learning and keep growing and keep expanding. So I love how she talked about that. How she said, think of it as a growth or as an expansion. So are you growing and expanding in your life? When one door closes, are you finding the next door to open? Or if you know there's another door that you're going to have to go through, are you looking at the positive side of it? Are you looking at it as something you can grow from, as something you can learn from? as, oh my gosh, this is going to be another tool in my toolbox. This is going to be something else that I know and I can conquer. And then I can teach somebody else about this, right? I won't have to learn this again because I am going to go through it and I am committed to learning and growing. Oh my gosh, how much would that help? Instead of focusing on the failure and focusing on the bad stuff, instead, focusing on the growth, the expansion, how it's going to help you, how you're going to grow from it. I love that. I think it's so badass. I absolutely loved talking to Kristin. So if you liked hearing from Kristin as much as I did, take a screenshot of this episode, throw it on Instagram, and tell us what you thought of the episode. What did you learn from Kristin? What takeaways impacted you, were powerful, helped you switch your thinking about something? Let her know. If you took action from anything that she said, or if you tweaked anything in your life just a small way, let her know. It is so powerful. Us badass women, we support other badass women, and it's so great to give them feedback and let them know how they impacted us, so then they can keep going and spreading the message. So I will throw Kristin and my Instagram handles in the show notes and the notes for this podcast. I'm at Ordinary to Badass. You can always just send it to me and I will tag her as well. But definitely feedback is huge. Like, I'm just going to keep harping on this. I know you might get tired of it, but not just for this episode, right? In life. If somebody comes and gives a speech at your work or does something that impacts you, tell them. Let them know. It means the world to people. All right. With that, I am going to let you go and we will talk soon. Definitely listen to the podcast on Monday. Dawn Upwan is going to be on the podcast, and she was a pastor who got fired from her job and then went on to start her own 6-figure copywriting business, and it's soon to be 7 figures. You're going to absolutely love that episode. And she did it for her kid. She did it for her family and her kid. So if you can relate to that, wanting to, be a stay-at-home mom or be around your kids, work from home, that kind of thing, listen to Monday's episode. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.